Tonight, we venture north of the border. You are looking at the Cone Lehman Soccer Complex in Stevensville, Michigan, where a good crowd is on hand as it's the girls' soccer renewal of the War on the Shore. The 14th-ranked St. Joe Bears visit the 8th-ranked Lakeshore Lancers in this edition of the 46th Game of the Week. And how you doing, everybody? Alongside Angelo DiCarlo, it's Chuck Freebie. Great to have you with us as we found some girls' soccer action, but had to venture north of the border to do it. And it was worth the trip because we've got two really good teams. Chris Freilich, St. Joe Bears come in with a record of 8-3-1. That includes a win over Gull Lake, the top-ranked team in Division II.
They're playing excellent soccer right now. Maybe that was a win that not many expected. Gull Lake easily handled Lakeshore earlier in the year, and then St. Joe comes back with a pivotal win. St. Joe has been the class of their district as of late. They've won 3 straight district titles, but Lakeshore is hoping that changes this year.
Lakeshore has a very inexperienced team. You mentioned that loss to Gull Lake. That is the only loss the Lancers have so far. Brian Samuel's team has been on cruise control since then. And unlike St. Joe, which has a star in Aaliyah Hedstrom, this is a very balanced Lakeshore attack.
Yeah, their highest score is just 6 goals versus 13 for Hedstrom on the St. Joe side. So they're very balanced, but they also are playing really good soccer. They have a win over Matawan last week, who is the #1 ranked team in the conference right now. So both teams playing really good soccer at the right time on 46.
It is always a great rivalry when these two get together. The Bears will be seen red tonight, and not just because of the Lancer uniforms. We'll tell you about the key players and the keys to win next. You're watching the 46 Game of the Week.
This is the WHME TV 46 High School Game of the Week, brought to you by HealthLink, Precision Door, Hometown Pharmacy, Ivy Tech South Bend Elkhart, Health Markets Tony Letcher, Martin Supermarkets, Purdue Northwest College of Nursing, Bill's Heating, City of South Bend Golf, Reliance, Basney Honda, Warren Golf Course, Crown Trophy, and the IHSAA.
And this edition of the 46th Game of the Week being brought to you by HealthLink, your community health center. Back at Mark Lehman Memorial Field, let's get you ready for St. Joe and Lakeshore on the girls' soccer pitch with tonight's key players and keys to win. And we'll start off with the St. Joe Bears, who come in with a record of 8-3-1 overall. And their leading scorer on the year, and really the catalyst of their offense, is senior Aaliyah Hedstrom. She has 13 goals and 1 assist so far this year for 27 years and scored both their goals in their win over #2 Gull Lake last Monday. So she is really the spark plug of Chris Freilich's offense. The keys to win for the Bears.
You want to get 10 shots on goal. You know, you get 10 shots on goal, you're going to allow Aaliyah Hedstrom to score some goals. And they want to win the 50-50 balls. They feel like they've done a good job of that so far this year. They got to get those in the middle a lot. Consistency on defense. You know, they've got some good leadership back there. They have to have that consistency in order to get the victory. Here's Coach Chris Freilich on the big rivalry with Lakeshore.
This is as big as it gets. I mean, you're talking about who's going to finish at the top end of our conference play and who's going to kind of settle into the middle. That's what's on the line here. And the likelihood that we're going to see each other again in 2 weeks or so.
We talked about the balance for this Lakeshore squad, but there's definitely a leader to their offense, and that's midfielder Isabella Saru, the senior with 6 goals and 6 assists for 18 points on the year. She is really a feisty attacker on this squad and a great leader on the field, giving them some veteran experience up front because they don't have a whole lot on the back end. The keys to win for Brian Samuel and the Lancers.
Play our game. That means be patient, and when the opportunity is there, to take it. They want to have good communication. It's a young squad, so they got to communicate well in order to be able to make that happen. And they got to finish when they have those opportunities to get the goals when they're there. Here's head coach Brian Samuel on facing off against St. Joe.
So we're trying to downplay that, by the way, a little bit, but yeah, I mean, you know, it's a rivalry game, so it's always going to be big. Everybody's excited to be here for that. But right, this year we're both ranked in the state, so you got some bragging rights there to go on. We're fighting for #1 in the conference, both teams right now, so it's huge for us, right? But it's a building block, you know, win, lose, or draw. It's one of those that, you know, our end goal is to win districts and to continue on and have a great run at state. So, you know, just one step at a time. and looking forward to tonight.
Perhaps two of the top teams in Southwest Michigan girls soccer playing at one of the top facilities in the state. It's St. Joe and Lakeshore here at Mark Lehman Field, and we've got the opening lineups and the kickoff next on 46. And this edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Precision Door. When you call, rest assured a talented professional will arrive at your door. The starting lineups being introduced here at Lehman Field. Here's Angelo DiCarlo.
All right, St. Joe will go with a 4-4-2 formation. Junior goalie Clara Berry giving up just a half a goal a game. 3 seniors on the starting back line. The midfield, all underclassmen at midfield. Junior Jade Murdoch, second leading scorer with 5 goals and 5 assists. We talked about up front, Aaliyah Hedstrom. Don't miss out on Eleanor Conway, aggressive attacker, 2 goals, 1 assist a game. And for Lakeshore, 4-4-2 formation to start. They'll play a lot of 4-3-3 as well. Sophomore Abby Haas is the only experienced defender back there. They also have senior Olivia Baker, who moved to the back. 5 goals, 5 assists a year ago, but she's been huge in the back. Sophomore midfielder Jenna White is a key. She's the quarterback on the field with goals in the last 4 games. And the forwards, Kia Collins and Cassidy Jackson, a senior and a junior for the Lakeshore Lancers.
So the team's being introduced out on the field right now. And our officials crew, Robbie Scudder in the middle as you take a look at the series history. The Lakeshore Lancers lead at 14-7-1. St. Joe has won the last 5, including a 1-0 victory in the district semifinals last June. And now this crowd comes to its feet as we honor America with its national anthem. We mentioned Robbie Scudder. He'll be the center referee tonight, working with Chris Fallick and Luis Aguirre Rivera, who will be on the sidelines. Both Fallick and Aguirre Rivera worked the JV game, which reminds us there is a shortage of officials in the MHSAA, just like we often say for the IHSAA. Looking for good officials. If you're interested in getting signed up, contact your local officials association.
St. Joe Bears 8-3-1 on the season, 3-2-1 in the conference play. Lakeshore 6-1-1, 4-1-1 in conference play. We've got 2 great teams, exciting action. Want to let you know that Diamond Factory Service wishes all Lancer athletics and club success. Diamond Factory Services offer fast local appliance repair and proudly serve Southwest Michigan and Northwest Indiana. Go Lancers.
So the 2 teams fired up for this one. You see St. Joe, the visitors, in their white uniforms with the blue numbers. And for the Lakeshore Lancers, they'll be in the black tonight, black and red with the white numbers, playing at home. As we mentioned, a good crowd on hand on a cool and breezy spring night. The rain came earlier, but it seems to have abated for the time being. And we've got 58 degrees at game time with a gentle zephyr coming out of the northeast at 9. As you can tell by the fans and their hoodies and their sweaters, it's always cooler by the lake.
It is, but you know what? We'll take it because it's dry right now, and that's the key. It's always great when you can get a good field, beautiful sports complex here, and it's dry and ready to go, and we're ready to get some soccer going here on the pitch up at Mark Lehman Field, and here with the play-by-play, the Hall of Famer, Chuck Frieden.
Cassidy Jackson gets ready for the first kick of tonight's game for the Lakeshore Lancers. And the Lancers just a half game behind Mattawan for first place in the Southwest Michigan Athletic Conference. Glad you've joined us for high school girls soccer on TV 46. Kaya Collins kicks it over to the far side. They were trying to set up McKenna Kime, but it goes past her. And St. Joe will get possession back. The battle goes on at midfield, and the Lancers have it.
50-50 balls will be key, as we talked about earlier in the game in this battle here. Youth for Lakeshore, more experience for St. Joe.
Collins has her pass deflected over to a teammate. St. Joe able to clear, though, thanks to Megan Meyer. And Meyer will switch directions as she works against McKenna Kime.
Meyer, the anchor in the central mid, and she's one of those specialties at those 50-50 balls.
Presley Perkins lost that ball, but Lakeshore maintains possession, although Hedstrom will press, but can't take it away from Abby Haas.
You can imagine already, you don't want Hedstrom getting the ball on that side of the field. If she gets one of those steals, she's going to be off and running to the goal.
Jade Murdoch with the throw in for St. Joe, but it goes right back out of bounds, and the Bears will retain possession. Murdoch, the second leading scorer on this St. Joe team, with 5 goals so far this year. Hedstrom pushes it up for Eleanor Conway, breaking in from the side. Her shot is deflected. Hedstrom can't get a foot on it this time, and Lakeshore controls it. At midfield, it's taken away by Lakeshore, and the Lancers have numbers. Baker coming up the middle of the field. Olivia Baker has it poke checked away that time by Ella Gable. Baker regains it, tried to feed Emily Lockman, couldn't get it through to her. And here comes Hedstrom and the Bears. Aaliyah Hedstrom trying to work this time against Olivia Baker. Hedstrom and Baker got a nudge in there and threw Hedstrom off balance.
Good defense there by Olivia Baker.
Now the Lancers coming the other way, and a foul called on St. Joe, and the Lancers will get it back.
We got a free kick coming up here for Lakeshore, an opportunity to get a set piece.
You saw the man in the cap, that's Brian Samuel in his 15th season as the Lakeshore girls soccer coach. He's been the boys soccer coach here for 25 years. Long ball down the middle of the field, and it rolls back. And Sonia Comdor will retrieve it and knock it out of bounds, and Lakeshore will have the ball on the throw-in. The Lancers with Emily Lockman trying to lob it in there, but Clara Berry will come over to claim it near the post.
We'll see if they officially count that as a shot on goal, but first real opportunity towards the net for either team so far, and a good defensive battle here in the early minutes.
Berry was kicking into the wind, and Jenna White manages to knock it away for Lakeshore. Comdor tries to retrieve it for the Bears, and now Sydney Umstead will knock it out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Lakeshore. Take a look at Kaya Collins, the senior with 2 goals and 4 assists so far on the year, but it's Baker who will do the throw-in. She has really been a fantastic defender for this Lakeshore team this year.
In her first year playing defense, so she's got that offensive skill that we're seeing here early on, pushing it up front.
Tried to cross it into the center, and a foul is called against Lakeshore, so it'll be St. Joe's ball, as there's Brian Samuel on the sideline. Science teacher here at Lakeshore High School. He says, I'm soccer 11 months out of the year and outdoorsman in November.
He does the boys in the fall, says, give me a break in November, and I'm back at it in December, getting the girls ready for spring season.
St. Joseph will retrieve it with Megan Meyer, now having it taken away by Presley Perkins. Perkins, a cross-country star, loses it, and here come the Bears the other way with Grace Humes. Humes taking off the ball, and now it's Emily Lockman. Left foot shot, Steve Clareberry.
Well, certainly the best look of the game so far there from Emily Lockman as we take a look at the replay brought to you by Honor Credit Union.
Terrific left-footed attempt here by Lockman, who was honorable mention All-State last year as a freshman, but Berry was right in its tracks. Now we come back to live action, and St. Joe in control of the ball. Aaliyah Hedstrom, though, has it taken away by the Lancers.
Not a great ball there to Hedstrom. They had an opportunity, but a little bit too much on it on the pass over to Hedstrom.
Baker's kick goes off the foot of Charlie Schell and out of bounds, and so Lakeshore will have the throw in with Olivia Baker.
Early on, Lakeshore controlling the tempo of this game. They've had the majority of the time, and really St. Joe hasn't been able to do too much yet getting the ball up to Hedstrom.
Now it's Grace Humes in control for St. Joe, sending it up into the Lancer zone. It'll be retrieved back there by Audrey Dejean, knocked out of bounds. And St. Joseph will have the throw-in.
Quality clear there by St. Joe because it forced Lakeshore to have to kick it out of bounds, and now an opportunity on the throw-in on this side of the field for St. Joe.
Grace Humes sends it in, but it's taken back by Lakeshore, and they'll knock it back out of bounds. And again, St. Joe will have to throw it in from about the 30, and this time it'll be Charlie Shell doing the honors. Shell, the sophomore, high honor roll student at St. Joe. They have a lot of terrific students on this St. Joe girls soccer team. Humes with the right foot lobs it out there, and Sophia Delafore will bring it in.
Saves brought to you tonight by Nature's Way Landscaping.
Now Lakeshore trying to come the other way with McKenna Kime, sending it across to Jenna White. And White, who has scored a goal in each of the last 4 games, puts it back for Baker. Baker's kick is intercepted by Sonia Condor and knocked out of bounds, and Lakeshore will have the throw in near field. We've played 6 minutes and 9 seconds. As you see the clock right-hand corner of your screen, that clock will count up to 40-minute halves here in high school girls soccer. Shell comes down with the left foot, sends it across to Eleanor Conway. Conway on the retreat. Sets up a nice ball that time for Condor, but it's taken away by Lakeshore. Now Shell. And it'll be Megan Meyer having it go off her foot. She's tripped up near midfield, no call, and Lakeshore comes the other way. Stopped there by Beatrice Lapicas. The freshman defender sends it ahead to Grace Humes. Ball a little bit too far that time for Megan Meyer, and Lakeshore is able to retrieve it.
Well, it's been an even battle in the midfield here so far. Neither team really able to do much on the last couple of plays. And Lakeshore, a beautiful move there to keep that ball in bounds.
So they finally move it up the field. And let's see if the Lancers can run a set play here. They'll bring it over on the right-hand side. And then Jenna White has it taken right away by Humes. Humes sends it up the left side. The race on between Hedstrom and Baker. Baker of Lakeshore gets there first, trying to work around Hedstrom, and it's out of bounds to Lakeshore.
Honor Credit Union is proud to support high school athletics. If you're ready for home equity, refinance, or home purchase, buy a new car. Check out Honor Credit Union in Stevensville and St. Joe for all your banking needs.
We've got a ball out of bounds, and now St. Joe with the throw in. It'll be Sonia Comder getting it in. The senior throws it off Lakeshore and moves about 5 yards downfield for the next throw in. Comder heads it, couldn't control it with the feet, and here's Kaya Collins. Collins racing through, sets it up, and they get it to Isabella Saru. Saru on the left side, the leading goal scorer on this Lakeshore team, getting her first real touch of the game tonight. Saru trying to bring it across. She was cut off nicely by Comder. And now it's back to Saru. Couldn't get it. And here comes St. Joe the other way with Grace Humes. Humes a little too far for control, and Abby Haas will retrieve it for Lakeshore. Now we got McKenna Kime, who will wear 22 tonight rather than 7. And Kime had it taken away. So it's Eleanor Conway taken off the ball by a teammate. That's Jade Murdoch now, and Murdoch feeds Grace Humes, but Humes makes an errant pass, and the ball popping around at midfield. Got a whistle and a foul called on St. Joe, and Lakeshore will have it from about 40 yards out.
Good opportunity here coming up for Lakeshore, getting a set piece opportunity here about 10 minutes into this first half. Try to set something up because they have not had many opportunities here despite controlling the tempo of the game.
Abby Haas, the only experienced defender from last year, sends one over. Barry's headed in. It's a goal for Lakeshore from Abby Haas. She one-hopped it over the head of Clara Barry and in, and the Lancers are on the board 1-0.
Take a look at this. This is not the set piece you normally anticipate to get a goal on in terms of the person kicking it, but the hop on the turf was something that St. Joe was not able to handle, and the Lancers get the opening goal of the game on the Honor Credit Union replay.
Haas scores from about midfield. It's 1-0 Lakeshore with 9:40 gone in the first. You're watching girls soccer on TV 46. And this edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Hometown Pharmacy, freedom to make life better. 1-0 Lakeshore on a long goal from Abby Haas, and now we'll see if Hedstrom and the Bears can recover. Aaliyah Hedstrom stops and a whistle blows, and we've got a foul called against Lakeshore.
Got a direct kick coming up here now for St. Joe and their opportunity.
Looks like Sydney Youngstead, who takes a lot of these direct kicks for Chris Freilich's team. A multi-year varsity player will stand up there, and we'll see if they can use kind of the same strategy, because De La Forêt is not exactly a towering pillar of height between the pipes.
Although she's played on this field more than St. Joe has and maybe knows its hops a little bit more. So let's see what happens here.
Oh, they just a side kick here to Comder, who drills it just wide, and it remains 1-0.
Good look, good effort, good shot. Take a look at that replay on the Honor Credit Union replay here coming up here, and it's a good set piece, good shot. It's just a little wide.
If Comder can tuck it inside the pole, she likely scores on that one, as she had De La Forêt well out of the net. Lakeshore now kicking it out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for St. Joe.
The Schwab Agency Farm Bureau Insurance gives a shout out to the Lady Lancers against St. Joe and is proud to support all Lancer athletics. Contact Matt Schwab for home, auto, farm, business, and life insurance.
Megan Painter and Rylan Hine check in for the Bears, and it'll be Painter doing the throw-in for St. Joe. Meanwhile, Megan Worcester, who checked into the game right after that goal, defends for the Lancers. Got it over to McKenna Kai.
And Worcester just makes the offense stronger for Lakeshore. Usual starter, has 7 assists this year, so she's definitely a playmaker that sets things up for the Lancers midfield.
Here's Isabella Saru battling against Eleanor Conway, and it's taken away by St. Joe, but only briefly. Now Conway watched it go out of bounds, and it'll go to Lakeshore.
Better yet, at Ivy Tech, these programs can be free or low cost depending on a student's chosen path. Start exploring Ivy Tech's high school opportunities to find one that's right for you. Find out more at facebook.com/IvyTechSBE.
Youngstead ahead to Jade Murdoch. Murdoch with the left foot finds Hedstrom. Aaliyah Hedstrom, the leading scorer on this team, with a nice ball forward for Megan Painter. Painter trying to come up the left wing. Painter across the middle, and nothing but red jerseys there. Worcester will clear it for the Lancers, out of bounds to St. Joe.
St. Joe, though, doing a good job pushing it forward now. They put on pressure here on Lakeshore ever since that Lancer goal at the 9-minute mark.
Comder to inbound, but it's Megan Painter trying to go across, and again, Lakeshore gumming up the middle. Ella Gable gets it back in for St. Joe, but again, black jerseys back there, and Audrey Deja will recover for the Lancers. They tried to set up a play going forward, but instead the ball going out of bounds as Presley Perkins couldn't get there. Rylan Hine with the throw-in. Almost a handball there, and instead Hedstrom controls with the left foot. Her shot controlled by De La Forêt. And the save sponsored by Nature's Way Landscaping.
I was just about to say they got to get Hedstrom some opportunities here, and right there she's kind of trying to create her own opportunity when she had a chance for a shot and she took it, and that's what they're going to have to do a little bit more of.
But Chris Freilich wanted at least 10 shots on goal tonight, and he's got 2 in the first 13 minutes. Pretty good pace to this one.
It is, but you still would like more. You know what I mean? It's like only one of those 2 was a really good opportunity. That last one was kind of forced more so than the first one. So I think he's got one really good opportunity so far.
Saru gets it over there, and it'll be Presley Perkins sending it to the far side. McKenna Kime. Kime up the far side, intercepted by Beatrice Lapicus, and the freshman kept it inbounds. Oh, we've got a whistle, and what's the call? Apparently she didn't keep it inbounds. And so we've got a substitution coming in now for Lakeshore as McKenna Mahalik will check in. And McKenna Mahalik takes the place of McKenna Kine.
Hometown Pharmacy in Mishawaka is the best place to go for your pharmaceutical needs. Call to schedule your hormone replacement therapy today. Hometown is proud to support the St. Joe and Lakeshore girls soccer team.
Check that. It's not Kime coming out, but Audrey Deja that time. Anyway, the ball loose and cleared by St. Joe. Hedstrom tripped up at midfield, and a foul is called.
We'll get a set piece coming up here just in front of midfield here for St. Joe.
1-0. Lakeshore leads it on a goal a little more than 9 minutes in. Kind of a freaky goal from Abby Haas, who took the kick from about 5 yards short of midfield on a direct kick, lobbed it on one hop over the head of Clara Berry for the goal.
Sydney Youngstead with the direct kick here. Good clear out by Lakeshore, but St. Joe able to control.
Painter trying to get it for the Bears. She's down in the corner. It's knocked out of bounds by Emily Lockman, but not a corner kick. It'll be a throw-in from there.
Neither team with a corner kick yet here tonight.
Painter with the throw. It went under the foot of a teammate, and Lakeshore knocks it out of bounds. So Comder will throw in from about 20 yards out. Hedstrom tried a little bicycle kick that time and couldn't get it to go. And now Youngstead right at midfield. Ooh, she just tossed down Kaya Collins. Andrew Pratley won't mind that kind of contact come football season for the Bears, but here it's called for a foul.
Great steal here by Megan Painter.
Painter has had some strong minutes since coming in off the bench, and she's running down the left side, flanked by Olivia Baker, and it goes out of bounds to Lakeshore.
Baker showing her speed down there. She just caught her, knocked the ball off of her, and was able to gain control on the ball going out of bounds.
Baker was a terrific offensive player for them last year. 5 goals, 5 assists. You mentioned this is her first year on defense, and tenacity has really been part of her game. She showed it in that sequence with Painter.
Absolutely, and she's got that speed of attack and midfielder, and able to show it there, and then also get the ball back, get the throw in, force it, flip the field a little bit, and that's huge in the sport of soccer.
Jenna White knocks it off a St. Joe player. Lakeshore trying to hurry up here with Kaya Collins racing down the sideline, trying to get around Comder. Collins has it down towards the corner. Collins trying to knock it off a St. Joe player, and she just shoves Megan Painter to the ground, and that'll be a foul on Collins.
It was a good double team work there by St. Joe, putting her in a difficult position, and then ultimately the foul happens.
Pretty easy call to make here on the Honor Credit Union replay. Whether you know anything about soccer or not, you know that's illegal.
Yeah, that left hand cannot shove the player down. Tends to get you every time as long as the referee sees it.
If I take 2 hands and put it in your chest, unless I'm playing offensive line, that's a foul. Baker with a nice move there, defending on Hedstrom.
Almost wonder how good of a defender Olivia Baker would be if she played defense her entire career. It's been great so far.
Youngstead over to Jade Murdoch. Murdoch with the left foot puts it up for Painter. Painter trying to chase it down on the sideline, kept it inbounds. Painter tries to cross. Did it go off a Lakeshore player? Apparently it did not, and so it'll be a goal kick for Lakeshore. And we've got a substitution coming in, so we'll take a break. 18-11 and counting here in the first half. 1-0 Lakeshore. You're watching high school soccer on TV 46. And this edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Bill's Heating, keeping families and businesses comfortable since 1951. A whistle and a foul as we come back, and it's called against Lakeshore. A trip by the Lancers. It's called on McKenna Mahalik.
She committed the foul and took the brunt of the injury.
And so Sydney Youngstead will line up for the direct kick with 19:10 elapsed here in the first half.
2 goals for Youngstead on the year. This is a good opportunity about 30 yards out.
Robbie Scudder moving the wall back for Lakeshore, making sure everybody's ready. Youngstead booms one, and it hits off the crossbar. What a shot by Youngstead, but she just knocked it a little bit high. And here comes Lakeshore the other way.
That's a prime spot on a direct kick for a defender who is known for set pieces, and she had every bit of it. It was just a couple inches too high on the shot.
Now it's Worcester for Lakeshore, sending it across for McKenna Kime. Kime trying to bring it up the left side, but Beatrice Lapicus is back there to take it away. Lapicus sends it ahead, and Lakeshore will take it back in the St. Joe zone.
Lapicus is just a freshman, but highly considered the most consistent defender maybe on this St. Joe team, despite the other three starting defensemen being seniors.
You talk to the other coaches in the SMAC, and they have nothing but good things to say about it. Grace Humes sends it into Lakeshore territory. But let's take another look at the direct kick on the Honor Credit Union replay as Youngstead barely missed knotting this one up at one.
That's just a beautiful shot, just a little high. If actually she's a yard or two back, it's going to dip down just enough to get into the goal. You'll take that opportunity every time.
Meanwhile, Kaya Collins comes out of the lineup for Lakeshore, and she appears a little bit hobbled over on the Lancer bench. Rylan Hine trying to get position, but the ball taken back by Lakeshore here at midfield. But the Lancers can't control it. Megan Painter with the interception. Painter ridden off the ball that time. Nice play by Jenna White. And it's White nearly colliding with Comdor, who got the better of that one. Lakeshore will play it over to the side for Olivia Baker.
That was a good job by Lakeshore, not panicking, seeing Baker on the side, getting it to her, and setting the ball up to go to the other way, and then here comes a turnover.
And that's one of the things Brian Samuels said to us today in talking about his team, is that they are playing with much more patience these days. And instead of everything being at a frantic tempo, they're able to show some poise now and then, and that was definitely evident on that play as Charlie Schell comes back in the game for St. Joe wearing number 14, taking the place of Painter.
It's a young team, and it takes time to mature when you're a young team, and now 8 games into the season, this being their 9th, you're starting to get that out of this group.
Meanwhile,
and not bad when you're 6-1-1 as you learn those things.
Meanwhile, the 1-0 deficit shouldn't be anything that rattles St. Joseph, an experienced team who knew they were going to have their hands full with the Lancers coming in here, even though St. Joe has won 5 straight in this series. Megan Worcester right in the middle of the field to Isabella Saru. Saru working her way up the field. Beautiful feed, but it's going to be a little too far for Cassidy Jackson, and St. Joseph will get it back.
Halfway through here this first half, 1-0 Lakeshore leading.
Now for St. Joe, the bagel has been a problem at times this year because the Bears 8-0 when they score at least 1 goal this year, but 0-3-1 when they don't score any goals this season.
That's a stat right there.
And what's interesting about St. Joe, as much focus has been on their offense this season, they've only given up now 4 goals in conference this season. That includes the one from Haas earlier tonight. Here's Jenna White working with the feet. White falls down, and it's taken away by Comdor.
And the one tonight was more of the fluke nature, but that does happen a lot in soccer because there's garbage time opportunities. There's always beautiful shots, but there's going to be the ones that just happen to happen, and that was one of them.
Comdor a little too far for Conway, and we've got another substitution as Megan Meyer checks back into the lineup for St. Joe.
Martin Supermarkets groceries to go. Annual subscriptions are now available. Just $29.99 for the year. Get ad pricing digital coupon recipes directly from your account. Learn more at martinsgroceriestogo.com.
Cassidy Jackson takes the place of Presley Perkins, who is used to running 24 minutes at a time. She's on the cross-country team. A throw in, and Lakeshore will try to control back in its zone, but they lose possession as Megan Meyer sends it back to Comdor, and the Bears will try to set it up trailing 1-0. Ella Gable to Jade Murdoch. Murdoch with the left foot to Conway. Conway looking for Hedstrom. And here comes Sydney Youngstead. Yumstead over to Charlie Shell. Shell coming up the left side. Shell still trying to find some room to operate, and Lakeshore's defenders not giving those wings any kind of room tonight.
But the positive is you force them to kick it out of bounds, so you get the throw in and you still have control of the soccer ball.
And the ball knocked back out of bounds, so Shell will try it on the throw in one more time. 25 minutes gone, first half, 1-0 Lakeshore. Hedstrom with a nice move, hard right foot, but she'll kick it all the way down to Benton Harbor.
Lakeshore's done an excellent job of preventing Hedstrom from getting high-quality shots. She's taken her shots. There's been 2 of them that she's taken, but none of them have been of the high-quality nature that she's used to, where she averages more than a goal a game. So Lakeshore's done a really good job of denying her the ball most of this game so far.
I think both coaches expected there would be more scoring opportunities in this game, even though the defenses come in highly touted. Given the quality of the attackers in this game, they just thought there would be more chances to score.
Big rivalry game, both teams playing well, game on TV. All these things play an impact when you start realizing how big of a matchup it is, and sometimes then things tighten up a little bit, to say the least.
Shell knocks it off of Olivia Baker and out of bounds, but it's short of being a corner kick, so Shell will have to throw it in. The throw-in goes under the foot of a bear, and then a shove in the back is called against Grace Humes, and Lakeshore will get it back.
Nature's Way Landscaping is proud to support the Lancers. Nature's Way Landscaping is Southwest Michigan's award-winning residential and commercial design and build firm.
Lakeshore sends it up the field, and it'll be Calmdor at the midfield stripe. She worked around White, but couldn't get around Emily Lockman. And it'll be Calmdor who throws it in. Calmdor's throw goes right under the foot of Eleanor Conway. And we've seen that quite a bit for the Bears tonight, where a ball has gone right under the foot on a throw-in. Now Murdoch with a nifty skip sends it up for Conway, and again, Lakeshore able to defend.
Lakeshore's defense bottling up the inside there, preventing any crosses from getting inside.
Ball loose, and it's controlled by Kaya Collins. No, that's Emily Lockman again. Lockman trying to get it to Saru, well defended by Ella Gable.
Gable winning that 50-50 ball, which is critical in this, especially here tonight when so much seems to be a back and forth battle. Very evenly matched teams.
Hedstrom working niftily with the feet. And she'll send it up the field to Charlie Shell. Shell coming up the left side. Baker screens her off, and who knocked it out of bounds? It'll be Baker.
6 kick coming up.
Yep. A goal kick coming up for Lakeshore. Lancers on top, 1-0. Both teams with only 2 shots on goal so far. Lakeshore will knock this one out of bounds right by their bench. And it'll be Calmdor here at the midfield. Sonia Calmdor, a multi-year varsity player, high honor roll student at St. Joe.
Not really sure how that ball stayed in bounds, but it managed to.
Hedstrom trying to back kick that one. Now sends it across. Here's Megan Meyer. Meyer battling that for the ball. And again, the Lakeshore defense just airtight, not really allowing any kind of opportunities for St. Joe from anywhere close. Well played along the sidelines by Lockman, but she couldn't control it inbounds, and St. Joe has the throw in again in front of the Lancer bench.
Only goal at the 9-minute mark on a long direct kick for Lakeshore.
The throw in goes over the head of Olivia Baker, but she'll retreat. And that ball knocked out of bounds, so another throw in for Charlie Shell and the Bears. Shell hits Grace Humes. And Humes will send it back to Calmdor at the midfield stripe. Gable turns and sends it up to Megan Meyer. Meyer lost it though, and Lakeshore retrieves it. Saru lobs it ahead. Calmdor will retreat, and Barry comes out of the goal to scoop it up in the box.
Saru put that into the box, hoping someone might make a run. Unfortunately, one of those times when no one makes a run, and you turn it over.
Clara Berry kicking that ball into the wind, and you could see the wind hold it up somewhat. She couldn't even get past the midfield stripe, normally a very strong leg. White now to Worcester. Worcester to Saru, and Saru had it knocked away, and here comes Grace Humes and St. Joseph. Humes ahead to Hedstrom. Aaliyah Hedstrom working up the side. Hedstrom with a head of steam, but she missed it wide left.
Beautiful lefty shot there by Hedstrom, but she had some trouble there.
30-13 elapsed in the first half as you get another look at the shot by Aaliyah Hedstrom. And just off to the left, she had plenty of height.
Presley Perkins checking into the game here for Lakeshore.
And that's Perkins trying to handle it, but instead it comes back to St. Joseph. The Bears have really controlled, I'd say, the last 10 minutes of this game.
Honestly, I feel like they've controlled a good portion of the game since the goal from Lakeshore. Really, it was Lakeshore the first 10 minutes or so, and St. Joe maybe the last 20. Not the whole time there, but for the most part, it's been St. Joe on the offensive a little bit more.
In fact, the goal by Lakeshore, I believe, was their last serious attack on goal in this game. Meanwhile, Mahalik will try to recover it for Lakeshore, and they'll throw it in with 31-12 to go in the first half, or 31-12 elapsed in the first half. 1-0 Lakeshore on 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week brought to you in part by the Warren Golf Course, located in Notre Dame, the top collegiate course in the country. Chuck Fabiangelo DiCarlo back with you in Stevensville. 1-0 Lakeshore on top. A little more than 8 minutes to go here in the first half, and Lakeshore with a 1-0 lead. It's Emily Lockman on the far side with the left foot. She sends it high over the net and away, and Clara Berry will have a goal kick for St. Joseph.
And a lot of changes coming in here for St. Joe's. They'll send 3 new players onto the field. For Chris Freilich, who is a Lakeshore alum, played football actually for Lakeshore, also played Olympic developmental soccer, and then went on to play football at St. Joe Rensselaer in Indiana.
Of course, St. Joe Rensselaer, the former training camp home of the Chicago Bears, and where the movie Brian Song was filmed. In fact, Freilich says his dad is still a season pass holder for Lakeshore.
I think he told us when he goes back to his parents' house, he opens up the closets, there's about 15 red shirts that you're going to see in there.
Sonia Calmder with the ball, gets it ahead, was looking for Megan Painter, but it'll go out of bounds, and Lakeshore will have the throw in. Jenna White keep moving back. Jenna, about 10 yards from where you were.
You always got to try to sneak it in. And then they'll tell you.
She was trying to sneak in a first down there, for crying out loud.
You always try.
Here's Isabella Saru with the ball for the Lancers. Nice crossover there, but she couldn't control it. Now she'll get it back at the feet of Megan Meyer. It pops into the air, and Lakeshore will have it with Jenna White. White sends it up the far side for Presley Perkins. Perkins trying to turn the corner, sends it down the goal line, but out of bounds.
Those are the 50-50 balls both coaches talk about, you know, trying to win those, and that was a great battle. Ultimately, Lakeshore got an opportunity, but not quite, because they didn't have the firm control of it. So when she turned to make that shot, she was off balance and wasn't really going to get a shot or much of a cross on that opportunity.
So the Bears knock the ball towards midfield, but Jenna White is there. Ahead to Lockman. Lockman with a nice feed off the head of Presley Perkins. Ball careens around. Saru with a shot at the top. She'll come over with the left. Strike. Berry, a diving save.
Well, Lakeshore with its best opportunity since scoring a goal, and Berry with the best save of the night for either team, as Saru, the leading goal scorer here on the Honor Credit Union replay. I mean, a good look, and Berry with an excellent save.
She had 6 of those in the upset of number 2 Gull Lake last Monday, and she really learned her lessons well studying behind the All-State goalie Kaylin Junk, who's now a freshman at IUPUI. Chris Freilich says Junk, now that she's done with playing at IUPI and studying down there, has really come back and worked well with Barry in practices, and it's shown in Clara's play.
Well, right there, when you study under a player who's a D1 player down there in Junk, who's starting to see more time they expect here in the coming years, and really regarded as one of the best goalies in the state of Michigan during her prep career, that's a good way to study.
Hedstrom's crossing ball taken away by Lakeshore. Saru sends it up the far side. Collins, trying to chase it down, but it'll be retrieved by Ella Gable. And Gable turns it for the Bears. And a foul called, a pushing foul against Lakeshore. And Robbie Scudder trying to settle things down out there with 4.5 minutes left to go here in the first half. Here's another loose ball, but again controlled by Lakeshore. Jenna White trying to put Megan Meyer on skates that time. Here's Saru. Saru working against Gable. Saru with the right foot, a shot. Barry leaps, but it goes over the crossbar.
Now Lakeshore starting to take back control of the tempo of this game. First 10 minutes, Lakeshore's favor. Next 20 minutes or so, St. Joe. Last 6 minutes, been back Lakeshore in control.
Back-to-back attempts for Isabella Saru. You'll meet her in halftime, our Tony Letcher Student Athlete of the Week from Lakeshore. Saru with a header over to Kaya Collins, and Collins has it headed away by Lapicus. Now Saru trying to chase that one down, but a little too far, and Barry will come out of the net with a little bit less than 3.5 minutes to go before halftime. The ball controlled by Kime. Kime to Worcester, and Lakeshore will retreat. Trying to use some clock here and set up the play. Baker going to try to control it just before it goes out of bounds, and Hedstrom right there in her face takes it away. Aaliyah Hedstrom, they kept it in bounds.
She gave up on it. She thought it was totally out, and it somehow rode that line and stayed in.
Oh, what a nice ball that time by Emily Lockman. And Lockman will send it forward, trying to get a streaking Collins, but Barry comes out of the net.
This game's health tip is brought to you by HealthLink. Quality health insurance is linked to a healthier life. If you or someone you know needs help navigating the world of health insurance, HealthLink can help. Navigators can assist with enrolling in Marketplace, Medicare, and Medicaid health coverage at no cost to you. HealthLink offers medical, dental, vision, and more.
Youngstedt, the senior who hit the crossbar with a direct kick earlier in the game, probably the closest that St. Joseph has come to tying this one up, gets the action started here on the restart. Lapicus trying to kick it away. Now Youngstedt with that big foot will send it down the field. Here's Lakeshore working at midfield. Worcester ahead for Saru. Saru coming across, trying to come to the right side, trying to hit the streaking Perkins, but it's intercepted by St. Joe. Painter got the foot on it. Perkins tried to go ahead, and the ball knocked around and comes to Jenna White. White got a little shove from behind, no call. And we'll send it across to the other side with 1.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Saru being strong with the ball, gets it over to Worcester. Worcester trying to set things up. Now to Jenna White. White has a right foot opportunity, but missed wide. Did it go off a St. Joe player? No, says the official. And the Bears will get the ball back with a little more than 1 minute to play here first half.
See if St. Joe tries to push it here and try to get one opportunity before we get to the half.
Megan Painter really holding her right arm in front of us. Was a little slow to go get that ball. Here's Hedstrom. Bears have a chance here. Hedstrom gets away from one defender, trying to get past Olivia Baker does. Baker shoves her from behind, and Hedstrom will have a chance, or somebody from St. Joe, for a direct kick from an angle with about 1/2 minute to go here in the first half.
We'll have to hustle here to get this in. On the Honor Credit Union replay, you see the contact and the clear foul, and Hedstrom goes down, and a direct kick coming up here for St. Joe.
And it'll be Youngstedt taking the direct kick again. Remember, she's the one that hit the crossbar earlier in the first half.
This will be pretty much the final opportunity of the half.
Lancers go with a two-person wall. Line drive, and it's in! Goal, Youngstedt! We're tied at 1.
With 4 seconds left in the half, she took her time, she set it up, she just missed earlier, and she gets that one, and we're tied at 1 in the War by the Shore.
Sydney Youngstedt with her 3rd goal of the year. You get another look from Honor Credit Union, and this is a beauty. Just through the wickets of De La Forêt with 4 seconds left in the first half.
Not very often you get to nutmeg the goalie, but that's what happened there. Earlier she went high, this time she goes low, and she gets the goal.
And it is a 1-1 game as the first half comes to an end here at Mark Lehman Memorial Field. As advertised, St. Joe and Lakeshore going at each other tooth and nail, and a couple of odd goals in this one. Abby Haas scoring from 40 feet out, and then with 4 seconds left in the half, Sydney Youngstedt with a shot she'll remember. We're tied at 1, going to the Tony Letcher Health Market Student Athletes of the Week next on 46.
Time now for our Student Athletes of the Week, presented by Tony Letcher of Health Markets. Today we have Lakeshore senior Isabella Saru with us, along with St. Joe senior Aaliyah Hedstrom. Aaliyah, we're going to start with you. You play basketball and soccer, and really, your story is one of perseverance. You know, freshman year, of course, all seniors in this area didn't get to play soccer. Sophomore year, you get injured tearing your ACL in basketball, and you miss soccer then as well. Take us through the journey to get back to this point of now really playing such high level in both sports.
You know, it was a big setback freshman and sophomore year, but I think we really got that back junior year, and we kind of took it for granted while we could. And it was just a blessing that we could even play high school soccer at that point.
And now you have an opportunity in college to play both. So are you looking at this as an opportunity to make up for lost time when you go to Lake Michigan College and play both basketball and soccer?
Oh, for sure. I'm extremely excited that I have the opportunity, and I'm just beyond excited, and I can't wait to further my journey.
What has being a St. Joe Bear meant to you?
It means a lot. I have an amazing group of girls and coaching staff, and I wouldn't be here without them, for sure.
Who would you like to give shout-outs to?
Definitely my family for pushing me, and my coaches, my travel coaches, my high school coaches, everybody, my friends, my family. They've been there with me through my whole journey of tearing my ACL and coming back, and I just am very thankful for everybody that's been in my life recently.
Aaliyah, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, Isabella, obviously, well, look at this. I'm going to just read it all off. Soccer, volleyball, Key Club, yearbook, SAD, all with a 4.0 GPA. When do you sleep?
Never. Just kidding. I just prioritize stuff and like get good sleep when I can.
But how do you make the day run? How do you put it all together?
Like I said, I prioritize and I just do like what's at the top of my list first and just work hard at everything.
How has being a Lakeshore Lancer shaped you?
It's been great. I've gone to Lakeshore since preschool, and so it's just nice growing up in this community.
Tell us about the future plans for college.
I'm attending Michigan State University to major in kinesiology.
So why that choice?
I don't know. I like science and math and that kind of stuff, and I might want to be a physical therapist. So.
And who do you want to give shout-outs?
My family and my teammates and coaches.
All right, Isabella, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Isabella Saru, Aaliyah Hedstrom, our Student Athletes of the Week, presented by Tony Letcher of Health Markets. We're back with first half highlights and your look to the second half right after this in our TV 46 Game of the Week.
For over 35 years. 1-1 tie here at Mark Lehman Memorial Field between St. Joseph and Lakeshore as we welcome you inside the Martin Supermarket broadcast booth, high and dry above the fray tonight. Chuck and Anj, and it's been as even as the score on the scoreboard. Just about every category 50-50.
Neither team has a corner kick. They have the same amount of shots a goal, same scoring. And the 50-50 balls, which often determine a soccer game, are about even as well. And both teams have scored on a direct kick. So it is as even as they come, especially in the War by the Shore.
Let's show you how it got to be this way in Stevensville tonight. It was Lakeshore that drew first blood. Abby Haas's second goal of the year comes on a direct kick 40 yards away as she one-hops it over Clara Berry, 1-0. But Berry gets redemption here, stopping Isabella Saru with a diving save, one of 2 saves for Berry in the first half. Sydney Youngstead was thwarted by the crossbar on this direct kick that looked like it would tie it at 1, but Youngstead would get her revenge with 4 seconds left in the half. She nutmegs the goalie to tie it up at 1, and that's where we stand. And really, I think if you're St. Joe, you've got the momentum now going into the second half because Lakeshore had them on the ropes late in the first half.
It's all about taking advantage of your opportunities. And when you score with 4 seconds left in a half, in a sport like soccer where scoring is at a premium, that is the killer in terms of mentality for the opposing team at halftime. I don't know what Brian Samuel's going to tell his team at halftime. They may not be listening because they're going to be so annoyed at themselves for giving up a goal with 4 seconds left.
An action-packed first half. Second half should be just as exciting when we come back. St. Joseph 1, Lakeshore 1. You're watching high school girls soccer on TV 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the Purdue Northwest College of Nursing. Kickstart your career with a nursing degree. And man, what a great facility they have here at Lakeshore on not just soccer either.
Yeah, you got everything. Look at the weight room, the gym. They have a field house. Chuck and I got a nice tour of that. Thanks to $17 million in donations from the Cohn and Bancroft families. They have some of the most state-of-the-art facilities in the entire state and in the Midwest. And you get the high look there of Lehman Field. Of course, Denny Dock happy about Betty Cohn Field. And look at this, Rocket Football Field. That's better than most football fields for varsity football teams in the entire area. They got it all here at Lakeshore.
You said it, I merely thought it. But what an honor to meet Bob Cohn before the game. You would never know that this was a man that made a ton of money on Wall Street. He comes up in his puffer vest, and I asked Bob, well, what's your favorite part of this complex? He says softball. He goes, got a daughter that played softball, and the games move a lot quicker.
He even got to the point when they're building the stadium, he's asking players their requests on that, dimensions that they want. So he's all encompassing. It's starting to rain out there, by the way, so could be a little wet here in the second half as we get going here between St. Joe and Lakeshore, tied at 1 as we go to the second half. No overtime, by the way, in high school soccer in the regular season. So we could see a tie perhaps in this one.
And ties have been a big part of why the SMAC is where it is right now. You saw that briefly up there. Matawan at 5-1-0, just a half game ahead of Lakeshore and Portage Central at 4-1-1. And you see St. Joseph, they really could use a win here tonight if they want to get in the top 4 for the conference tournament. The conference is broken into 3 different brackets, but it's really the 1 through 4 that you want to be in.
Yeah, you want to get those 3 points, and this is a big one in order to get that. They got the big one last week as well with Gull Lake, but now they got to get it again here tonight.
So St. Joe going from left to right on your screen. The ball a little too far for Eleanor Conway, and it'll be a 6 kick for the Lancers.
Lakeshore had the benefit of the wind with them in the first half. Now that field flips here a little bit. We'll see if St. Joe can take advantage of that here in the second half. Diamond Factory Service wishes all Lancer athletics and club success. Diamond Factory Service offers fast local appliance repair and proudly serves Southwest Michigan and Northwest Indiana. Go Lancers.
Megan Worster's ball. She was trying to get it ahead to Jenna White, but it's taken away. St. Joe trying to control in the Lakeshore zone with Comder. Now here comes Isabella Saru. She's tripped up from behind and the foul called on Grace Humes.
Now conversation with the referee here at midfield.
And you'll get another look on the Honor Credit Union replay. Ball being bandied around now. And the elbow's flying, and it'll be Another foul called on Hughes. So now a direct kick for Lakeshore. This one from about 30 yards out.
Both of our goals have been scored via direct kicks. This is about the range of the early attempt from St. Joe that went off the crossbar, a little bit farther. Definitely shorter distance than the goal that Haas had earlier in the game.
You are kicking into the wind. Let's see what happens with Megan Worster here. The defense set. Worster on the approach. Lobs it towards the goal, and Barry punches it in the air. It's still loose. And finally, St. Joe able to clear.
Barry couldn't get the catch to save it, so it became a free-for-all, and good job by the defense here.
Now a ball, and Barry's right in front of it. Off the foot that time of, it looked like Olivia Smith, maybe Saru. And that ball knocked by Saru forward. Here's Presley Perkins. Perkins has it taken away by Jade Murdoch. Murdoch trying to go ahead to Eleanor Conway, but back chasing it down in a hurry is Audrey Deja. And St. Joe will have the throw in on the near side, about 20 yards out. Murdoch lobs it for Elia Hedstrom. Hedstrom with the left foot, her shot deflected and easily handed, but De La Foret. So St. Joe now still on the Lakeshore side of the field, but that ball goes awry and the Lancers will send it forward to have it retrieved by Sonia Comdor on the far side. Comdor ahead to Megan Meyer.
It's a good job by Connor, not rushing, taking her time. She had time, and she was able to get it forward. But now here's a good steal and an opportunity here for Lakeshore.
Worster was laying in wait for that one. And Beatrice Lapicas was able to control it briefly for St. Joe. Getting some help from Murdoch here. Lapicas, the freshman, battling for the ball, has it taken away by Perkins. Perkins kicks it back. As they try to get it to Saru, it's knocked out of bounds by St. Joe. It'll be Lakeshore's throw-in right in front of the Lancer bench. The two head coaches in this game, Chris Freilich and Brian Samuel, both coaching in their 251st career varsity game tonight.
What are the odds of that?
Samuel with 20 more wins. He's 170, 63, and 17. That's on the girls' side. Freilich 150, 80, and 20. So both have been tremendously successful.
Basically started coaching girls soccer at their respective schools about the same time. Samuel's got 10 more years on the boys' side, but 14 years for Freilich at St. Joe, 15 years for Samuel at Lakeshore coaching girls soccer.
Freilich had been coaching at Buchanan for a few years before he came to St. Joe. He said really in Southwest Michigan there's two jobs you take a look for. And it's these two schools, St. Joe and Lakeshore.
And Brian Samuel wasn't going anywhere once he got the job.
And the kick controlled by Lakeshore, but only briefly. They knock it out of bounds, and the Bears will have a throw-in midway into the Lancer zone. Murdoch fires it in. Grace Humes has it for the Bears. Humes with the left foot sends it into the box, and De La Foret comes up and handles it easily.
I'll give Lakeshore a lot of credit here to start the second half. Remember the goal from St. Joe 4 seconds into the left in the first half. They had the momentum. Lakeshore, it doesn't feel like it feels even Steven here in the second half in that regard. So Lakeshore's weathered that storm, so to speak.
Saru has it taken away by Jade Murdoch. Murdoch has it go off the foot of Conway, and Saru couldn't control it for Lakeshore, but Worster does. Worster to Emily Lockman. Lockman uses her size to fight off a defender and send it across the field. Nice little move that time by Kime as she got it ahead to Perkins. Perkins back to Kime, finds Saru behind people, but she was offside.
I believe that might be our first offsides call of the game as well. Been a very clean game, good opportunity, but Saru just a little ahead of the defense.
Sydney Youngstead, the goal scorer for St. Joe so far, gets ready to put it into play. And now with these wetter conditions than we've had throughout most of the game, we'll see if things get a little trickier for the keepers tonight.
Wind looks like it's completely died here, at least based on the flagpole.
Hedstrom ahead to Eleanor Conway. Conway down the right sideline. Conway cuts in front of Kime, but her pass is intercepted. Abby Haas was there. Now it's Murdoch trying to get around Saru. And here comes Presley Perkins, but Murdoch steps in front of her. Perkins briefly interrupted, now goes on the run. Perkins, a member of the cross-country team here at Lakeshore, has her pass intercepted by Megan Meyer. And Meyer has it taken away. Now Perkins up the sideline again, but there's Lapicus. Nice little footwork that time by the freshman. Made the pass, nobody home. Jenna White, the interception for Lakeshore.
Back and forth. Not much time between possessions here between the two sides. Lakeshore hoping to change that here with a good opportunity.
They've got it going on. Here's Lockman with a shot. It's just a little bit wide. Barry came out, tried to make the diving save, couldn't, but the ball goes wide.
Not sure if she was going for the shot or the cross here. Let's take a look at it one more time. I think she was going for the cross, but no one was able to be there on the Honor Credit Union replay.
And so it'll be a goal kick here for St. Joseph in a 1-1 game.
That's one of those situations that you put it kind of in between because you don't have an angle on the goal. Maybe someone gets a hand on it, it deflects, and you get the garbage goal on the rebound. But there, it didn't have it. It just went straight through, and no one able to get to it.
Worcester and Hedstrom collide. Legs tangle, and they call the foul on Hedstrom, but good sportsmanship as she offers to help up Worcester. Many of these girls have played together in travel ball.
Yeah, they all know each other. Two schools separated by 5 miles.
And that's what makes it such an intense rivalry. They all know each other. You don't care if they're strangers. You do when you know them. Audrey Deja knocks it out of bounds. A throw in here for Megan Painter and the Bears. Painter finds Sally Shelby. Shelby coming up the right side. Shelby down by the corner trying to make a cross, and it goes out of bounds, and then we'll have our first corner kick of the night.
Thought at first maybe that was going to be a 6 kick, and it will be a corner kick here coming up.
It'll be Megan Meyer going into the corner.
She takes the majority.
Kick.
She takes the majority of the corners for St. Joe.
A writer for the school paper, The Windup, hoping to make her own headline right here.
No wind.
Meyer with the cross. De La Foret's out of position, but Hedstrom couldn't get a foot on it.
St. Joe trying to keep this in play, and good defense here by Lakeshore.
Perkins with another nice play for the Lancers.
Excellent work by Lakeshore, preventing that second opportunity, which is often the most dangerous part of a corner kick.
Well, Lakeshore with a turnover in its own end will give it up to Painter and the Bears. Painter's throwing goes off another Lakeshore player, but Painter reached down to touch it before it went out of bounds, anticipating the throw in.
She knew that wasn't a smart play right as soon as she did it.
And guilt written all over the face of Megan Painter that time.
Thankfully for her, they just said, we'll make this a kick.
Painter now trying to get redemption. Finds Shelby. Shelby back to Painter on the right side. Painter back inside, but Lakeshore is there. Here's Murdoch trying to come down around the goal line, and Murdoch knocked down and no call made. Chris Freilich begging for one on the Bears bench. Lapicus bounces it off a Lancer defender, and here comes Lakeshore the other way with Jenna White. White trying to get Perkins ahead. Perkins colliding that time with Youngstedt, and it'll be a throw in for Lakeshore. Saru will do the honors. Right to Perkins and back to Saru. Saru's pass intercepted. Now the Bears with a head of steam. Hedstrom. Hedstrom working across the middle of the field. Wards off the defender. Sends it over to the far side, and Megan Meyer. Meyer trying to get around Olivia Baker, couldn't do it, but Baker knocks it out of bounds. It'll be a throw in for St. Joe.
Honor Credit Union is proud to support high school athletics. If you're ready for a home equity, refinance, home purchase, buy a new car, check out Honor Credit Union in Stevensville and St. Joe for all your banking needs.
Here comes Saru. Gets it over off the back heel of Perkins. Perkins, her pass intercepted by Painter, but Perkins steamed back to get it back. Now Murdoch. Jade Murdoch over to Megan Painter. Painter wants to refeed Murdoch. They'd love to get it onto the foot of Hedstrom, who has been quiet tonight. It goes over to the far side. Charlie Shell will track it down. Olivia Baker with some nifty footwork to take it away. And here comes Baker for Lakeshore. Baker got it to midfield before Sonia Comder retrieves it for the Bears, but only briefly. Crossfield pass for Presley Perkins. Perkins hit from behind, and down she goes. The foul called on Megan Meyer, and it'll be a direct kick opportunity from about 32 out for Lakeshore.
Going to be Megan Worcester, who leads the team in assists with 7.
And Anj, I got to think they go with the same strategy here that they went with from the 40-yard direct kick in the first half. See if you can get something to bounce up over Barry.
I wouldn't be surprised if they also bounce up and try someone to head it in. Didn't get enough loft on that one.
Much like my 9-iron. Here's Megan Meyer coming the other way. Ball goes out of bounds. St. Joe will have a throw in. We've played 53-40 in this one. A 1-1 tie between St. Joe and Lakeshore on 46. And this edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you by Ivy Tech South Bend Elkhart, a cornerstone of education in Indiana.
And only one corner kick here tonight.
But we're not in Indiana. Here's Megan Painter throwing in for the St. Joe Bears, taking on arch rival Lakeshore, a 1-1 tie in this SMAC Girls Soccer Showdown.
That's why there weren't more.
Eleanor Conway with the cross, but it's taken away by Lakeshore and cleared by the Lancers. Here comes Emily Lockman racing it down. And Lockman battling with Anna Calamaros on the other side, and St. Joe gets it back. Jade Murdoch. Murdoch coming across.
One of the more heart-stopping plays for a coach when it's just sitting there in the box like that. Feels like it's been 10 minutes.
Painter tried to turn, but Presley Perkins, who's had a dynamite second half, was there to intercept it. And Perkins with another defensive play to knock it out of bounds, and St. Joe will get it back.
Well, she's an Energizer Bunny being a cross-country player. You know, she's going to have that energy throughout the game and showcasing that here in the second half, especially. She got a little extra go in her step.
She is a four-sport athlete here at Lakeshore: basketball, track, cross-country, and girls soccer. Other than that, she doesn't do a whole lot.
Maybe gets a couple runs in between.
Brian Samuels says she can run all day, and she has on this field tonight. Ella Gable gets it over to Sonia Comder as the St. Joe defense trying to set things up, but they knock it out of bounds, and Lakeshore will have the throw in on the far side.
The Schwab Agency Farm Bureau Insurance gives a shout out to the Lady Lancers against St. Joe and is proud to support all Lancer athletics. Contact Matt Schwab for home, auto, farm, business, and life insurance.
Lockman, her kick was intercepted by Gable. And Ella Gable got it to Comder. Comder right at the midfield stripe, taken away by Isabella Saru. You heard about all of her accomplishments in the interview with Anj at halftime, one of our Tony Letcher Health Market Student Athletes of the Week. The ball coming the other way with Beatrice Lapicas, ahead to Jade Murdoch. Murdoch turning, looking for help. Gets it ahead, wanted to get Conway, but De La Foret comes out of that to retrieve the loose change. 23.5 minutes left in this one. Lakeshore and St. Joe knotted at 1. Ball down the far sideline. Comder will retrieve for the Bears.
A reminder, no overtime in regular season high school soccer, so if neither team scores again, we'll end in a 1-1 tie.
It'll be McKenna Kime coming down the left side. Kime trying to get around Lapicas, but she was too quick, and Gable is able to clear. Knocked out of there by Humes. Conway got it to Humes, and she'll send it forward and out of bounds. Lakeshore will have the throw in. Both teams been wanting for opportunities here in the second half. Saru is able to control it for Lakeshore. Over to the far side, and Olivia Baker. Baker ahead to Jenna White. White has been hot in recent games, trying to feed Emily Lockman. Lockman still in pursuit, as Calamaros has it taken away by Lockman, but she gets some help. And St. Joe finally able to get some relief with Rylan Hine, but only briefly. Jenna White got it into the middle, but it's cleared out of there by Lapicus, and St. Joe now has control. Humes coming up on the the near side, looking for Conway. It's taken away by Lakeshore. Conway still battling for it though. Gets it back, but only briefly. Off the heel of Worcester, it's intercepted by Shelby. Shelby to Conway. Conway trying to feed Shelby, split the defenders with the pass, but there's nobody there to help Shelby once she gets it in the box. She had to go back outside. Painter, a long shot. It's just wide.
St. Joe doing an excellent job there, despite not having Hedstrom in the game. Right now she's on the bench, and yet they're still getting those shots on goal, and a good opportunity here. Look at this shot. Almost just a little wide on the Honor Credit Union replay.
Too much lefty spin on it that time off the right foot of Megan Painter.
Painter's played great soccer here tonight for St. Joe off the bench. She's been a factor in all sides of the field, offensive, defensively, minus that handball. That we'll ignore that part.
The sophomore had the game-winning goal this year against Kalamazoo Christian. She is a 4.0 student at St. Joseph High School.
Hedstrom back in the game, meanwhile, for St. Joe.
And now after that little breather, let's see if Aaliyah Hedstrom is able to generate some offense for this Bears squad tonight. She has 13 goals on the season, has been quiet tonight. Worcester in the middle of the field. Allows the ball to go over to Kime. And Kime is able to put it through a defender's legs to Perkins. Perkins to Saru, trying to do the give and go to Perkins, but it's well defended, and Barry comes out of the net to get it for St. Joe.
Good defense there by St. Joe. They had two players on that side. They kept the angle off on the run towards the ball, preventing her from getting it to make an opportunity to the goal.
Barry's kick comes out to midfield, and Murdoch has it there for the Bears. 20 minutes to go in this one, tied at 1. Saru comes up the left side. Saru working the feet niftily, pushed down from behind by Megan Painter. And another direct kick opportunity here for Lakeshore as you'll get a look on the Honor Credit Union replay.
Yep, just a shove right in the back there by Painter.
So here's Worcester with her third direct kick of the second half. And let's see if she can make something out of this one. Barry stands lonely in goal. Worcester a little chip shot here as they try to generate some offense. It's kicked back outside where Lockman will control it at the corner of the box. Lockman trying to turn that corner, sends it down the goal line, and it's out of bounds. It'll go to St. Joe.
That's Worcester's specialty. She's got 7 assists on the season. She's one of those players that can set you up for success. Maybe won't get the goal off the direct kick, but can usually loft it in there to get an opportunity. But St. Joe doing a really nice job defensively countering that. A lot of those direct kick opportunities so far for Worcester have not materialized in a great shooting opportunity.
Saru collided that time with a St. Joe player. It was Megan Meyer, and Meyer got the better of it, but Presley Perkins gives it back to Worcester. Worcester now to Jenna White. White turns it, takes it back towards the middle, shoots, and Barry deflects it away.
Great save there. Let's take a look at this replay brought to you by Honor Credit Union coming up here that keeps the game tied at 1 pending a corner kick coming up here. Take a look at it one more time. Beautiful look, launches it, and Barry gets the arms up.
So a corner kick coming up for Lakeshore. Looks like Olivia Baker over on the far side will do the honors. Long ball that Hedstrom is able to knock back. Baker will try to control it on the sideline. And it goes into a wall of white there in front of the St. Joe goal.
They had pretty much everyone there, but more importantly, clearing it out, and they do have enough players up front to keep it on the attack here.
Conway sends it forward. Lakeshore will retrieve it with Baker. Jenna White trying to work against Charlie Shell. White sends it backwards. Baker across. And now the Lancers get it over to the near side.
High tempo the last few minutes, so now maybe settling down a little bit for each team, trying to get something set up.
Worcester reverses field. Worcester sends it forward off the head of Painter. It goes out of bounds and a throw in for Perkins and the Lancers. Substitutions coming in for St. Joe and for Lakeshore. Lakeshore will send McKenna Mahalik in. Meanwhile, it's Grace Humes, Rylan Hine among the folks coming back in for the Bears. The throw in and a shove will land a direct kick for Lakeshore from right about the spot where Youngstedt scored at the end of the first half.
You stole my words from you. Let's take a look at the replay here on the Honor Credit Union replay. Hard to tell on that angle. Looked like she may have had contact from behind, but hard to tell there. Now we're going to figure out the yardage here on the wall.
So Megan Worcester is going to try to send it over 3 Lakeshore players and do what Youngstedt did. Tuck it inside the goalie and give Lakeshore a lead if she scores.
Moving wall. Getting the direction from the goalkeeper.
Worcester with 3 goals and 7 assists. She lobs it up over Barry, who goes up and brings it down.
Excellent save. Barry was shifted over as she moved the wall over, and she had to get every bit of inch that she has. Not a tall goalkeeper herself. She gets just enough ups and then holds on to it as she's getting bumped from behind.
Right, because if she carries that ball over the goal line, then it's a goal. But she did not, and we remain tied at 1. And a sandwich made of Cassidy Jackson will give Lakeshore another direct kick. And a yellow card against the Bears. I believe that's on Megan Meyer. First yellow card of the contest. And now a golden opportunity for Lakeshore, kicking from right on top of the box. They'll call it on Grace Humes. And you get another look at the contact here on the Honor Credit Union replay. Humes with a solid elbow into the side of Cassidy Jackson. So it looks like Abby Haas will take the direct kick. She scored earlier.
They take a player off, but I don't think they let a player come on. They only have 10 on the field.
Chris Freilich trying desperately to get his player on the field, and finally Jade Murdoch is allowed to enter.
Well, Coach Freilich was having a conversation with the assistant referee. One player came off, and they didn't realize, I think she came off right away, and they're trying to say, hey, we only have 10 on the field. We got to get another player on.
Now the approach and the kick. Barry corrals this one easily.
That was a lot easier than the last one.
This one, she was able to keep her feet on the ground and kept reaching for the stars.
Better yet, at Ivy Tech, these programs can be free or low cost, depending on a student's chosen path. Start exploring Ivy Tech's high school opportunities to find one that's right for you. Find out more at facebook.com/IvyTechSBE.
Perkins sends it back to McKenna Kime. Kime has it taken away, and a shove from behind called against Lakeshore. And again, good sportsmanship by both these teams.
Hometown Pharmacy in Mishawaka is the best place to go for your pharmaceutical needs. Call to schedule your hormone replacement therapy today. Hometown is proud to support the St. Joe and Lakeshore girls soccer teams.
A 1-1 tie with a little less than 15 minutes to play in this one. Eleanor Conway, well, she thought she was going to try to feed Hine, and Hine broke the other way. It gives Lakeshore a throw in, and Lakeshore will sub in Kaya Collins into the lineup. Collins comes in for Emily Lockman, who was very aggressive in her time on the field. Perkins trying to control along the sideline. It comes back to Kai. Kai trying to throw a hip check into Murdoch, but Murdoch comes the other way with the ball. Murdoch trying to go ahead to Hedstrom, a little too far. It's controlled by De La Foret.
Lakeshore with 8 shots on goal in this one. 4 shots for St. Joe so far. Tied at 1 here. 14 minutes to play.
Saru has it taken away. Battle at midfield for the ball. Collision. Foul called on Lakeshore. It'll go against Jenna White.
We may get some laundry coming out. Nope, just a conversation.
And it'll be Youngstedt trying to take the direct kick from about 35 yards away.
This one probably out of the range for the goal, but she scored all 3 of her goals this year on direct kicks.
And she's got some power in that leg.
Wind has picked up a little bit.
Youngstedt chips it in there. Lakeshore with a formidable wall there. Keeps it out. Perkins kicks it forward. And as the ball careens around midfield, Gable is able to retrieve it for St. Joseph. Goes out of bounds. 13 minutes to go. Tied at 1 on 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the City of South Bend Golf. One city, 3 amazing courses. 1-1 between Lakeshore and St. Joe. Now 12 minutes to go in this one. Remember, as Anj told you earlier, it can end in a tie. And it would be, in some ways, a fitting end to this game tonight. It's been very even.
Haas had the early goal at the 9-minute mark. And then, of course, St. Joe got their goal with 4 seconds left in the first half.
Sydney Youngstedt's goal on a direct kick. Tremendously placed and tied this game at 1. Lakeshore has had more and better opportunities here in the second half. In fact, they've outshot the Bears 5-1 here in the second half.
Feels like they just have a little bit more in the tank energy-wise, and endurance is a big part of this sport.
St. Joe just has not been able to get the ball to their leading scorer, Leah Hedstrom, much tonight at all.
Hedstrom is back out of the game right now, trying to get a breather.
Abby Haas over on the far side sends it forward, but again, St. Joe was right there. Sonia Comdor, who's had her name called a lot tonight, as Hedstrom gets ready to check back in at the next break.
Just over 10 minutes left in this one. Here's an opportunity for Lakeshore.
Presley Perkins will charge forward with it. Perkins towards the middle of the field, and Gable knocks it clear.
The problem was she had an opportunity, but it was 2 on 4. She didn't have much help next to her other than one teammate.
Charlie Shell knocks it out of bounds. And we'll take our final break with 10 minutes and 17 seconds to go in this one. Lakeshore and St. Joe tied at 1 on 46. And this edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Reliance. Building homes from initial concept to full completion, we do it all. Chuck Fraby, Angelo DiCarlo with you in Stevensville. 1-1 game between Lakeshore and St. Joe. This one has lived up to billing.
It really has. It's been an excellent battle. Even Steven, as they would say here in Stevensville, tied at 1 with under 10 minutes to play in the ballgame.
Olivia Baker on the far side has her pass taken away. And the Bears send it well into Lakeshore territory, but finally out of bounds, and the Lancers will have to throw in from there.
Martin Supermarket's groceries to go annual subscriptions are now available, just $29.99 for the year. Get app pricing, digital coupons, recipes directly from your account. Learn more at martinsgroceriestogo.com.
Lakeshore trying to move things around. Saru got pushed a little bit from behind. No call there. And Isabella moves it over to the near side. Here comes McKenna Kine. Emily Lockman back in the game ahead of her. Saru in the middle. Kicks it back. She was looking for Worcester. Kicked it too far. Lakeshore still in control, though. Abby Haas, who's got the game's only goal for the Lancers, gets it ahead to Worcester. Worcester changes direction so well. With the right foot, kicks it forward. Bends it ahead. That's Collins trying to get it for the Lancers, but she can't get turned. And Collins will wind up kicking it out. It'll go off of St. Joe, and it's a throw in for Lakeshore.
That was great defense by Grace Humes, preventing her from turning and getting a pass inside.
Worcester had a brief opening, but couldn't trigger the shot. And St. Joe able to clear it to Hedstrom. Hedstrom can't control it. Lakeshore gets it back. Presley Perkins. Perkins gets it ahead to Worcester. Worcester sets up White. White and Collins get tangled up, and the ball goes to the far side. But Lakeshore applying pressure here. The ball goes out of bounds, and St. Joe will have a throw in. They'll put Conway back in the game, along with Charlie Schell.
Nature's Way Landscaping is proud to support the Lancers. Nature's Way Landscaping is the Southwest Michigan's award-winning residential and commercial design and build firm.
Chris Freilich, the St. Joe coach, told us earlier in the week, 3 points are so hard to get in this conference right now. But when you're on the road, you really want to get at least one. So let's see if St. Joe plays a little more conservatively here in the last few minutes. Saru with a shot, Barry's right in front of it, and thwarts her for her 8th save of the night. Clara Barry having a dynamite game in goal tonight. The one that beat her was somewhat of a freak goal anyway. Ball off the foot of Baker. Ahead for White for Lakeshore. White looking for Worcester. But the pass had nothing on it, and St. Joe intercepts it. Here's Hedstrom trying to go ahead. And De La Foret comes out of the net to collect the loose change.
St. Joe's opportunities have been so limited here in this second half.
Conway got a foot on the pass, but it goes out of bounds to Lakeshore. 6.5 minutes to go in this one. Remember, the count clock's up. You're looking for 80 to end it. Hedstrom with a good move. Hedstrom trying to come around the right side, now comes back to the middle. Left foot strike goes wide.
Best opportunity of the half here for St. Joe as Aaliyah Hedstrom, their leading goal scorer, 13 goals this season. It's a beautiful left-handed foot on that.
Her grandpa Gary passing away last month, so she's playing with a bit of a heavy heart this year, but has given it her all for the St. Joseph team, and will continue to do so when she attends Lake Michigan College next year.
She'll play both soccer and basketball there.
Terrific athlete. Here comes Lakeshore the other way. They get it ahead to Collins. Collins trying to go up the right side. She's working against Comdor, and Comdor took it right away from her. Here's Grace Humes. Humes up the sideline. Jenna White stops it at midfield for Lakeshore. Now Saru. Saru couldn't get around. And St. Joe comes the other way with 5:15 to go. Conway. Conway now on the left side looking for Hedstrom. Conway stops because it was a 2-on-4 situation, and when she goes to the other side, there's nobody there. Perkins back in the game, tries to get it up for Lockman. Lockman may have intimidated Gable a little bit. Here's Perkins coming the other way.
Good touch.
Perkins to Saru, back to Perkins. Perkins right foot, and it goes off the back of a bear. That was Comdor who got in the way of it.
Maybe one more pass to Collins could have gotten a really wide open look there.
Now look at the burst by Perkins trying to get there in a hurry. White has it, but there was a foul called on Perkins as she knocked a bear to the ground.
Of course, at this point in the game, any opportunity is a good opportunity, and you want to take it.
You'll get another look from Honor Credit Union at the contact down in the offensive end. And it was Youngstedt who wound up going down thanks to the shove from Perkins. Battle for the loose ball. Kaya Collins through the legs of a Bear defender to Emily Lockman. Lockman coming up on the left side. She got past Lapicus, but Lockman knocks it off the foot of a Bear, and it goes out of bounds. It's a corner kick for Lakeshore with 3:50 left.
It'll be Megan Worcester taking the corner kick.
Worcester just trying to get this one into the box and see if some chaos can ensue.
Why not chaos in the War by the Shore Girls Soccer Edition? It's the way it's meant to be.
Worcester on the approach. Good ball into the middle, and they couldn't quite get the header from White. Collins will try to retrieve it for Lakeshore. Kaya Collins trying to turn that corner, but too many St. Joe defenders in the way. Here comes Hedstrom. Aaliyah Hedstrom. Hedstrom gets it up the field.
She's onside.
Here comes Conway. Conway stops, trying to weave her way through traffic, and a handball on Hedstrom.
That was another situation when they're 2 on 5 there. Maybe 3 on 5 with the player trailing.
Now Olivia Baker sends it up for Lakeshore. Less than 3 minutes to go in this one. Perkins tried to turn it, but there wasn't anybody there. Now Saru is. Saru comes around Youngstedt. Saru with the left foot, it goes wide. Probably by about 2 or 3 feet.
Now Saru pleading her case here to the officials. I assume there must have been some contact that she didn't appreciate.
I'm not even sure it was contact. I think she's trying to say it went off the foot of a St. Joe player and out of bounds. They were looking for the corner kick.
Well, contact of a different kind. 2 minutes left. We'll see if we get anything here. Will these teams play for the tie or go for it in these final 2 minutes?
We shall see as Saru sends it up for Emily Lockman. Lockman's going to get to this ball, but can she do anything with it? She sends it into the box, and it comes back out to Kai. Kai knocks it out of bounds, and St. Joe gets it back with 1.5 minutes left. So Ons will go down to the field to get our players of the game, assuming this one ends in a 1-1 tie. Here's Hedstrom. Aaliyah Hedstrom trying to get past a wall of Lakeshore defenders and can't do it. Baker takes it right away from her. And now here comes Lakeshore trying to make another run. Youngstedt thwarts that one. Jenna White at midfield knocks it out of bounds, and it's St. Joe ball with 1 minute left. You can feel the intensity rising here. Hedstrom goes around Saru. Hedstrom going through people. Aaliyah Hedstrom on the left side trying to get around Baker, shoots, and it goes wide. She was hoping to get a corner out of it, couldn't. Now DeLaForêt with 36 seconds left. And Lakeshore desperately trying to clear the zone, but they knock it out of bounds. St. Joe will have a throw in here. Hine gets it in. Riley Hine. It goes off the elbow of Lockman. And now the ball loose. Here's Worcester coming the other way. Worcester sends it up. Nobody from Lakeshore can get there, though. Barry way out of the goal. Perkins kicks it back. 8-7, 6, 5-4. And this one is going to end in a 1-1 tie in the War on the Shore tonight. So Lakeshore and St. Joseph. Battle would be the appropriate word because they just went at each other tooth and nail for 80 minutes and wind up in a 1-1 tie tonight in a well-played soccer game at Mark Lehman Memorial Field. Goalies Sophie DeLaForêt and Clara Barry acquitting themselves well, especially Barry, who wound up with 8 saves here tonight in this 1-1 contest. So Lakeshore and St. Joe will shake hands and once again get to meet each other, maybe again in the conference tournament, maybe again in the districts. But tonight, Lakeshore won, St. Joe won. Angelo's back with our players of the game after this on 46.
Thanks for watching the WHME TV 46 High School Game of the Week, brought to you by
Oh, it was even Stevensville tonight here in Southwest Michigan. A 1-1 tie between Lakeshore and St. Joe in this SMAC Conference Showdown. We welcome you inside the Martin Supermarket broadcast booth. Chuck Freeby and Angelo DiCarlo with you. And we have both covered so many of this rivalry in different sports, whether it's football, basketball, whatever. There's no reason to think girls soccer would be any different, and it wasn't.
No, especially in the last 20 minutes of the game. You felt that intensity, especially from the crowd. You could just feel both teams wanted it badly. They're trying to do what they could to get it happen. It ends up in a tie, but these two teams are going to see each other come postseason time. The last 10 district championships have been won by Lakeshore and St. Joe. They're going to see each other again in the future.
And by the way, for St. Joseph, they maintained that unbeaten streak they had against Lakeshore, 6 in a row. Moments ago, Angelo went down to the field and talked with the two goal scorers in tonight's game, Sydney Youngstead of St. Joe and Abby Haas of Lakeshore.
Sydney, hard-fought battle. Your thoughts on coming away with this 1-1 tie?
I mean, Lakeshore has always been a huge competitor to us, and I'm really happy how we ended. We fought as a team, and I think it could have gone either way, so we had a good fight.
You had some great opportunities that first half. You got the one off the crossbar, then you got the nice goal on the nutmeg. Take us through both of those opportunities.
Well, as a center back, I don't normally get to score or have opportunities to shoot on goal. So when I do have those opportunities, I definitely take them. And it also helped when Lakeshore's fan section said I couldn't shoot. So that gave me a little encouragement.
Always extra in the rivalry. What do you like about the way your group is playing at this point of the year?
I feel like as our team continues to develop, we've done really good at connecting the ball and really talking and communicating on the field. That has been huge for us, and I feel like at the beginning of this season, we kind of struggled with that, but we definitely have improved throughout it, and I think that's one of our strong suits right now.
All right, thank you very much. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, Abby, you had the first goal of the game, maybe unexpected in the way it went in. Take us through the opportunity there.
A little bit. Well, in practice, we practice a lot of set pieces, and so I knew I was going to get opportunities for that, and I guess I was ready. Was hoping that our team would crash in, and it just happened.
How fun is a night like this when you get to face your arch rival in a well-attended game and, you know, right down to the wire in a 1-1 tie?
Oh, it's so much fun. Like throughout the whole day, like we get all hyped up, and it's fun facing our rivals because, you know, we're so close in competition, and it could go either way, and whoever wanted it more, and I hope to see them in districts.
9 games into the season, you guys have only lost 1 time. Evaluate how good this team has played to this point in the year.
We played very good. We came off strong with our tournament win at Marshall. We beat Trenton and Marshall. That was a big competition for us. We went into it with our heads up and very strong. And then I feel like Matawan last week and Loy Norix, we got that momentum built back up, and we were ready to fight, and we showed that.
Abby, thank you very much. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
So for St. Joe, a tie on the road. You're never going to argue about that in this conference, a conference loaded with good teams, including #1 Gull Lake. Lakeshore probably feels, especially with that goal being scored 4 seconds before halftime, like they might have gone fishing in Lake Michigan tonight and let one get away. But still, I don't think either team can walk away from here disappointed.
I think as long as you don't lose the war by the shore, you're satisfied in many regards, especially in a year where both teams are very good. You know, you're 2 top 15 teams in the state in Division II. So I think you got to come away mostly happy. Obviously, like you said, 4 seconds left in the first half. That's going to burn you a little bit. But for the most part, you come away without losing, you're happy.
So now we've had softball. We've had lacrosse. We've had baseball. We've had girls soccer. Why don't we get you to the track? Because that's the next thing we're going to have on our spring showcase here on TV 46. The IHSA boys sectional from Penn And I'm telling you, folks, there are some top performers in the sectional. If you want to talk about Robert Naboo, who had a huge South Bend City meet, you can talk about Luke Kaufhold and Ian Joyce, some record setters on Mike McCarthy's St. Joe team. And, of course, Penn, the Kingsmen, are always strong, and especially in the distance and field events.
Look, it's going to be great because you got so much speed in the area. We're going to showcase that. You're going to see the field events as well. And the bottom line is we are showcasing a boatload of athletes because you get to see so many schools at one time. We've gotten a lot of sports on this spring sports season on 46, and in this regard, we're going to get a lot of different schools and athletes on. It's going to be a lot of fun in the Penn sectional coming up.
So that's what we have for you next week on 46, but our thanks to our TV 46 crew who brought you this game, led by our production manager, Dean Korsmo, and our usual cast of talented men who put passion into bringing you high school sports each and every week. A reminder, yes, the track sectional, the boys track sectional from Penn in Indiana comes your way next Friday night at 11 and Saturday morning at 9. And then don't forget, you can follow us on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. We've got it all covered, and we keep you up to date with the latest in high school, college, and professional sports. Now from our broadcast partner, Angelo DiCarlo, it's Chuck Freeby. Once again, the final score from Mark Lehman Memorial Field. St. Joe 1, Lakeshore 1. So long from Stevensville.